Hey guys, Daniel here. So tonight I'm going to talk about something different. Tonight I'm not going to talk about the work. I'm going to talk about the war. Because the war needs to be talked about. And my motivation is all this hate. All this hate. All this fear. Now, I'm not judging anyone for being afraid or hating. I'm just saying there's a lot of it right now. But this war that's going on, it's a spiritual war. It's a holy war. In the true sense of the word. Good versus evil. Light versus darkness. Love versus hate and fear. Right versus wrong. And we're all in it. Every moment of every day, we are participating in this war. What you do, what you say, even what you think is a shot fired for one side or the other. And all this hate got me thinking. Now, I'm not coming from a place of like, that's beneath me. Hardly. I used to participate in what I now call these hate fests, hate roundtables, where there'd be a subject on the table, place, person, thing, usually a person. And we all sit around and talk about how much we hated that person. Online, in person, and the conversation could go on for weeks, months, years. We all get a turn, talk about how much we hated that guy. What did he do now? And we all throw fuel on that hate fire, get it bigger, and we justify each other's hate and validate the hate. Sometimes it felt good to hate. But I had two moments of clarity that snapped me out of it. The first was, I was watching this TV show called The Housewives of New Jersey. Remember that? And there was this woman on that show named Danielle, and I hated that bitch. Ugh. And one episode, she was like in a cat fight with somebody, and I'm thinking, kick her ass. And I kind of came out of myself and was watching myself. And I said, dude, you have got better things to do than to be hating on this woman that you don't know, never met, on a reality TV show, please. So I stopped watching that show because I realized the show was pushing that hate button, and I don't like being emotionally manipulated. But I was still participating in the hate roundtables. And this one got particularly heated, and somebody had said something about, burning down his house with his children in it. And that made me pause. And in that moment, my grandfather came to me. And it reminded me of a conversation I'd been privy to many, many years ago. At he and my grandmother's home in Long Branch, New Jersey. Now, this was the early 60s, okay? And World War II hadn't been over for 20 years even. And it was still very much a topic of conversation because that war impacted everybody in a not so wonderful way. And the adults were talking about it, and somebody had said something about hating the Nazis, right? And my grandfather, who was unapologetically opinionated and eager to share that opinion with whoever was in earshot, he shut it down. Now, a lot of the men in my father's family, they had these loud, booming voices. And he slammed his hand down on the table and bellowed, no. When you carry hate in your heart, for any reason, they win. Okay. So I excused myself from that hate roundtable. And I went out to the desert. I got to have this place out there. And I took that with me. And I unpacked it. And I sat with it for quite some time. And I asked God, what am I supposed to learn from this? Because here was a man that if he had any reason to hate the Nazis, anyone did, he did. He was part of a family that was part of a community, part of a people. And I figured, after what they did his family and community, if he can take a pass on hating the Nazis, all right, I can take a pass on hating whatever. So I made a decision to stop hating. I was done hating. And I thought that would be that, but it wasn't. Because I found out, like I had this knee-jerk reaction when I would hear a name or a situation or a topic. I would just click into that hate. And I had to be very mindful for a long time. You're doing it again. And it's not enough when we identify a behavior that no longer serves us, that doesn't grow corn. It's not enough just to stop doing it. You have to replace it with something else. So I started to replace hate with love. And that took some doing. Love as a weapon. And I got over the hump back then, but it wasn't until a few years ago when I was really able to love everybody like I do now. But back then, after I got to the tail end of my hating, I realized that, hate is learned, right? Like prejudice, it's learned. No child is born with hate in their heart. It's all learned. The racism is learned. The anti-Semitism is learned. It's all learned. Discrimination, it's all learned. And I was like, where am I learning this shit from? Like I said before, I don't like being emotionally manipulated. And I was learning it all from the news. The news. So I stopped listening to the news over 10 years ago. And I'll tell you, my life is much more serene as a result. And I am more at peace as a result. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. Remember, the sky was always falling. I was pissed off all the time. And afraid. I don't need that. And now I'm not afraid. But according to a lot of people, I'm supposed to be afraid, right? I'm supposed to be afraid because I'm gay. And I'm not. Nor will I be. Because I have nothing to be afraid of, right? Nothing at all. Last year, Cat Williams, he did an interview, and the topic was the Illuminati in Hollywood. I guess a lot of Hollywood people joined that organization, and he was speaking of the horrors they participate in, but he didn't. And the interviewer asked him, aren't you afraid of saying all this publicly about that organization? He said, no. When you have God on your side, there's nothing to be afraid of. So, yeah, I have nothing to be afraid of. Nothing at all. I choose love. I choose love. I choose peace. I choose forgiveness. Now, I still have my moments. I still have my moments. And, our emotional health affects our physical health greatly. And for me, when I slip back into it, like I had a client not too long ago that really pushed my buttons. And was thinking unkind things about this person, and my knees started to hurt. But, yeah, nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. And for me, it was the news. I don't know. Might be you too. I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. So my prayer, God, is that we find peace in our hearts, and peace in our homes, and peace in our communities. Okay. Okay, guys. It's enough out of me. One last thing. Never forget, you. I'm talking to you. Never forget that you are loved. Okay? All right. Welcome, peace, guys. See ya.